I'm wondering, has any of you heard about the disaster that is ongoing in the town of Flint, Michigan, in the USA? I ask that because it's been ongoing for about 1 year and 9 months, but there has not been very much reporting of this tragic incident, which includes thousands upon thousands of people being toxically poisoned because of lead that was put in the drinking water. This has been going on for 1 year and 9 months, and I just found out about this unbelievable situation about 5 or 6 days ago. Can you imagine? Flint, Michigan, the residents of Flint, Michigan are 100,000, and they have been struggling to survive since lead was placed in their water because of a decision which the authorities in Flint, Michigan made. So why no one has been fired, there have been those that have resigned, but because of no one being fired, I am not quite sure if this situation has been taken seriously enough. Again, there's over 100,000 people that are on record who live in Flint, who are residents, legal residents. There are more people there, of course. And since this happened, April of 2014, towards the end of April in 2014, man, I'm wondering, why hasn't anybody been fired, not resigned, and why hasn't anybody been sent to jail, arrested, prosecuted, or in the process of going through the trial in order for them to be considered criminals and sent to jail as a result of their negligence?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you now straight from the headquarters of the Topkats Pride, is presented the unusual but factual and oftentimes controversial Wow News, featuring various international reports that will inform you and keep you in the know while you're on the go. And now, your Wow News reporter, Q. Pate.
Welcome to the Wow News Report here on the Topkats Pride channel. Thank you for joining me. As I mentioned earlier, during the end of April 2014, Flint, Michigan's water system became poisoned with lead as a result of the authorities there deciding to use the Flint River instead of the municipal water source, which comes from Lake Huron. And this decision is what caused this gigantic problem. The governor is Snyder of the state of Michigan, and the mayor there now is a woman, an African-American woman by the name of Karen Weaver, Dr. Karen Weaver. She recently took over from the former mayor of Flint, Michigan, a man by the name of Dane Walling, last name spelled Walling. And Mr. Dane Walling was actually the mayor who was in office when this decision was made. On top of that, the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality also backed up Mr. Walling and said that the water was fit for the people to drink and bathe in and all of that type of stuff, when in fact it wasn't.
For 18 months, researchers believe the water flowing through taps across Flint has been tainted with lead.
I'm paying for poison, paying for water that's a toxic waste.
Rhonda Kelso and her 12-year-old daughter Kaylin are among many residents of Flint whose blood levels tested high for lead after the city switched its water source. In an attempt to cut costs, city officials stopped getting pre-treated water from the city of Detroit in 2014 and instead began using water from the nearby Flint River. The problem is that the Flint River is 19 times more corrosive than Lake Huron, Detroit's water source, according to researchers at Virginia Tech. And the city wasn't treating it according to federal law. Lead pipes began to corrode.
If you were to put something in a population to keep them down for a generation and generations to come, it would be lead.
Dr. Mona Hanna-Atisha is a pediatrician at Flint's Hurley Children's Hospital.
It is a well-known potent neurotoxin. There's tons of evidence on what lead does to a child. And it is one of the most damning things that you can do to a population. It drops your IQ, it affects your behavior, it's been linked to criminality, it has multi-generational impacts. There is no safe level of lead in a child.
After hearing her patients complain about water that looked and smelled and tasted funny, she decided to investigate. Using publicly available data on lead levels in children in Flint, she found that the percentage of lead in kids doubled, even tripled in some places after the water switch.
When we saw that it was getting into children and when we knew the consequences of it, that's when we began not to sleep.
Here's how this happened. The corrosive Flint River water goes from the plant to the water mains, to the service lines to homes. In Flint, the water mains are made of iron, which turns some of the water brown. And half of the service lines and pipes in Flint homes are made of lead.
You have to think about it that these children were drinking through lead-painted straws.
I built this place with my tax money!
For at least a year, city and state officials denied anything was wrong. The former mayor, Dane Walling, publicly drank the water to make a statement. But a 2011 study had also warned that the Flint River was corrosive and needed to be treated.
Is there a good explanation for why they decided not to add the anti-corrosive material to the water?
No.
Nobody has answered that question.
Well, I don't think there's a good answer for that.
Experts tell CNN it would have cost about $100 a day. In late September, officials finally recognized what experts had been saying. The water in Flint was toxic. By October, the city reverted back to using the Detroit water supply, but the damage was done.
I do apologize for, with respect to our role in this issue.
The state's director of environmental quality stepped down, and Walling lost a re-election campaign.
In retrospect, I regret all of it, all the way back to seeing the city move to a different drinking water source. You can't put a dollar amount on the devastation to our community, our kids, and it was completely avoidable.
So the question now is who's to blame? People here in the city of Flint, they blame the state because the state of Michigan had control over the city of Flint's finances when these decisions were being made.
I just wanted to come and share that information with you because I think that there is no mistake that Flint, Michigan, if no other place in the United States, Flint, Michigan is certainly under attack. How else can it be classified when you have 100,000 population who has been only able to consume and be around water, dirty water, corrosive, toxic water for the last year and 9 months? How is that possible? And there has been apologies from authorities, but again, no one's been to jail. Can you imagine that? And these people have no way, except for the donations that are coming in to Flint, Michigan, distributed by the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan, and that was started on January 20th. They have no other way of getting water besides out of bottles and hopefully, jugs. I mean, because can you imagine just getting all your water out of a bottle to pour into a bathtub and even to be able to take a bath? Or just imagine the scenarios that have occurred surrounding fast food places or swimming pools or any place where water is being used, which is just about in everything, in the processing of food and factories, in so many places. Imagine the unbelievable reality and hardship of life that the people of Flint, Michigan must be experiencing, while if it wasn't for the director, the USA director Michael Moore, and the famous actress Cher, producer also Cher, who these two have gotten together. They haven't been in the same place at the same time, but they have gotten together and rallied the mainstream media, so to speak, to focus on this issue. And I would like for us to also focus on the issue. And I'm going to be doing many more reports and updates about this situation in Flint, Michigan, because this is very, very serious. As a matter of fact, what I wanted to mention is that there has already been a podcast that's been put together for all of you that are interested in more information surrounding this unbelievable demonic situation. And the link will be in the description box. If you're interested, please feel free to go and check that out. Just click on it. Another window will open up and you can go ahead and check that whole radio podcast out. And it has all of the intelligence that we found pertinent. We cross-checked and rechecked and thoroughly checked all of the information that is being provided. So I would encourage any of you that are at all concerned about this tragedy to check that out, and also to tell your family and friends about this, because although it's on the mainstream media now for over about a year and 5 months, a year and 4 months, except in Flint, Michigan, or except in Michigan, the state of Michigan, this story wasn't getting very much exposure. And why that is, I can only surmise. But the point is, now it is out. And the main reason that I wanted to make this video is that I wanted to let you know, first and foremost, about the podcast that has been created for your convenience. And I also wanted to thank publicly the people that have been instrumental in helping those who are in Flint, Michigan. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Mr. Michael Moore and Cher, I also wanted to tell you that other people who've been donating are Jimmy Fallon, the talk show host Jimmy Fallon, the rap artist, producer Eminem, the actor-director Mark Wahlberg, as well as the rapper, producer, performer Big Sean, Sean Diddy Combs, who co-owns a California-based water company called Aqua Hydrate. I wanted to also say thank you to them, because they're going to donate 1 million bottles to the people of Flint. Wiz Khalifa is another artist, producer, performer that I would like to thank. Wiz Khalifa. There's also members from the group Pearl Jam who are doing what they can to help ease this pain and situation with the Flint, Michigan residents. Detroit Lion players are also on my list. There are 3 Detroit Lion players who are making sure that they help out with the situation. Some of their names are a bit difficult to pronounce, but I'll give it a go. The first player is Ezekiel Anza. The next player is Damukong Su. And the third player is Willie Young. There were also there's Anheuser-Busch, the company Anheuser-Busch, and recently, as a matter of fact, I think today here at the last week of January, The Game, the rap artist, performer, producer, The Game has said that he's going to donate $1 million to the Flint, Michigan campaign or what have you, whatever has been set up. So again, there is a serious ongoing situation happening in Flint, Michigan. And I would ask for all of us to rally around those people, because if it can happen in Flint, Michigan, it can most certainly happen in your town too. And I just have to mention that because some people, I find, only attach themselves to other people's pains when they realize that it might affect them next, or when they're also been affected by something similar, or when something of that nature has occurred to them in the past. But I think with this situation being as mysterious and as weird as it is, to say the least, I think it's absolutely necessary that we rally around our fellow citizens in Flint, Michigan. Again, the podcast is available for you. The link is in the description. I'd like to thank you for joining me for this quick vlog about this detrimental situation. And I will be making more posts and creating podcasts on the Spreaker channel, Spreaker.com/Topkats Airborne, about this situation until it is rectified. And I don't actually know how they'll be able to rectify this, because the system, the water system, the pipes and all of this type of stuff, in every way, in every place that the water is tapped for people to use, has been contaminated. So although the President Obama, has allocated some funds and sent in the National Guard down there, if you want to say that, when you actually see or you access the information pertaining to the National Guard arriving, there was only like 7 of them that arrived. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time here on the Topkats channel.